Ciao amici, come state? Hope I found you well. I normally speak in Italian in my videos, so this is gonna be my first attempt to do an English one. Per voi italiani all'ascolto mi dispiace, ma farò questo tentativo in questo video, quindi attivate i sottotitoli o drizzate le orecchie. It's probably easier for me to do this video for foreigner people all around the world. It doesn't matter, because if I do it for Italians, it doesn't really make sense, you know, because I want to advise and share my views and my look for Italy and my perspective for everybody, but especially for foreign people, because if you're Italian, you live here, so it doesn't really make sense if I give you my point of view for Italians. So probably better, and it's also a little bit more curious if I do it like in an honest way, but for you people like abroad. So this is gonna be my honest review of places in Italy, especially the 20 regions. An honest review for Italy if you're like coming here on holiday, or also just on a maybe small vacation, or if you want to know more about the country. I've always lived in Bologna, which is like the bottom of the north, let's say. I've got my points of view for Italy. We got our problems, of course, as all the world knows. All my life was in Bologna, but I have my point of view, for all the regions. There's gonna be two exceptions, because I've never been to Basilicata and also Valle D'Aosta. Well, I've been like 2 hours in Aosta, which is like the capital of the region. How do you say that? How do you say capoluogo? I don't really remember anything. It is a beautiful region, like Basilicata. We'll talk about it later. I've never been there like first person. I've never been there personally. So we got 18 of the 20. This is gonna be a hell of a trip. I hope I'm not forgetting something. And also it's not easy to find an Italian person that has been like in all of Italy and in every single, of course, town of Italy. So I'm gonna do like a generic point of view of all my, problematic but a really beautiful country. Let's begin, shall we? So I'm gonna start with an island, which is Sardegna, and you're gonna have my honest point of view of my perception, like what I felt when I was there, how the people is, how the country, the region looks like. So Sardegna is the first one we're gonna look at. I've been there in 21, and it was just a vacation, which is basically what we're gonna see for all of it, honestly, because I've lived in Bologna my whole life. Even Sardegna, of course, was a vacation. Was the first one that I did with my girlfriend. We were in Livorno. We took the boat from here and we did the trip. It was really easy, nothing like maybe a bit long. We landed in Umbria, which is like a city with a harbor. There's not much going here. It's not really an important place, just maybe for Salmo, the singer, and also for the harbor where a lot of boats coming in, but it's not really a really important place to be. So there's main cities. There's gonna be there's Sassari, Cagliari. I've been here, and my main place where I've been was Santa Maria Navarrese, which is like a really small town with some stuff to do around, but not much, which is basically like the mid-level of all Italy. You're gonna have like lots of small towns, but there's not really much going there and not really much happening. Yeah, there's plenty of it all around Italy. My point of view is that people is like really, really friendly here. It's a Statuto Speciale region, because they have their own rights and they're kind of independent, but in a particular way, which I'm not gonna talk about it here because it's a long story. But they have like some different kind of stuff happening instead of the main region. But yeah, it's really cool. The countryside here, like the plants, the trees, whatever. It's really unique. It's probably one of my top 3 regions, and I'm a bit ashamed that I've been there only when I was like 27. But it's really a beautiful place. The rich people and all the best places to see are up here in the north, and Corsica we're not gonna look at it because it's France for the moment. If you go in Sardinia, let's say you're not gonna waste time for sure. You're not gonna find a bad place. The roads for sure are not like the best ever, but I didn't have any big problems. If I can put a vote to it, I'm gonna say Sardinia is probably a 9 if you're gonna have a holiday for a more basic way of living is probably not the best of it, because you can find pretty good jobs, I guess, but it's not really the main thing of this video. So as an holiday destination, it's gonna be like a pretty good for a holiday, but even a real perspective of it is probably gonna be an 8 of a region. But it's really good. Probably more for holidays than living here. We're gonna focus on the second. Probably Sardinia is the biggest one, or Sicily is the biggest one. I really don't know, but we're gonna move forward. Let's talk about Sicily. I've been there, Sicilia, 2-3 times, I think. Probably 2 times I've been there during high school for a school trip, and 2 years ago with my friends, because a really good friend of mine is from this part of the region, you know, like this here, Limina. It's even really easy to find people from Sicily all over Italy, but also here in Bologna. You know, Bologna is the city of the university, like the oldest one in the world, so it's really easy to find them people anywhere. But a really good friend of mine has a family from it. It's a really spectacular place. Even here, I don't really suggest living here. Is a little bit tough because it's in the south, so the south of Italy is a really delicate place. There's lots to do in the evening. There's a lot of, you know, really amazing places to see, a lot of historical places. I've been just in this part, to be honest. I've been to Siracusa, Catania. There's the Mount Etna with the volcano. Pretty amazing food, like in all of Italy, of course. But Sicily is really, you know, fat fried, you know, heavenly food to eat. There's really accommodating people. They're all pretty friendly. Probably not the safest place ever. Like all of Italy, to be honest, is not really the safest place. You know, the small towns usually, but it's probably gonna be like this in all the world. But in Italy, normally the small towns are the more secure, and the big cities are normally the ones where you can be scammed and feel a little bit insecure. But it's normally like that. So Sicily is probably, even this, like Sardinia is a place to be, but it's a little bit in the middle for maybe for living. So it's gonna be like surely for an holiday. Even this place is amazing. You know, you can go to Marsala, San Vito lo Capo, Palermo. I know is a really pretty one, but there's even I don't know where, but there's a place where we have, like, you know, the hottest summer ever. Like we had it here somewhere, I don't remember where. It's not a really easy place to live probably, but it's a really chilled one, and people like are amazing. So I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10 for sure. Is because I'm thinking about it in a way where you have to live it, but also can experience it with people for a vacation. So Sicily is probably even this one is a little bit in the middle. And we're gonna go north, a little bit north, because if you're going through from Messina to Reggio Calabria, which is like just here, you can find Calabria, which is the next region we're gonna look at. I'm gonna go back a second to Sicily. Messina is not really a really good place to be, and it's not really an amazing city. Like all of it is good. Probably in the center there's not much to do, but all of it is okay except for Messina, in my honest point of view. Calabria is the next one, which is a little bit like Sicilia in a lot of ways. There's a lot of amazing places even here for for vacations. There's Tropea, Vibo, Soverato, like in the both Ionio and the Tirreno. There's not much to do in my point of view in the evening. There's not a lot of animation clubs, whatever, for what I saw. And also the main thing for me that is bad about Calabria is that it is a little bit forgotten. I don't know how to say that, by Italy, by the state, because there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of cool stuff, but there's not really that many people that go there. Like Tropea, like the famous places are like full with people in August and all the summery months, but not really like a really good place to live, or maybe do a family based way of life. So I'm gonna give it like a 6, a 5, because it's really a shame, to be honest, with Calabria, because there's a lot of potential. Even the Italian state doesn't really care about it, as it seems to be. Even people like are really friendly here. Maybe Sicily, it's a little bit better, but just a little bit. But Calabria is amazing. I have to be real. We have to be real. So it's like that always, but it's always like really good for a vacation. We're gonna go even north. We're gonna find Basilicata here, which is the place where I haven't still been. I know there's a lot of good places, and also the main one where I want to go is Matera, which is like a white stoned carved city. It's a really good place, and I really want to go there. I've also been really close to it even this summer, because I went with my band. I was playing here in Puglia, Puglia, but we didn't have the time to go to Matera, which is really a shame. But I know there's a lot of good places to go, but I still haven't been there, so I don't really have much of an opinion, except for I know it's good. I know it's good, but yeah, I cannot say very much about it. So let's go for the next one, which is Puglia. Puglia is, you know, a really famous region for a nightlife. I've been to Polignano a Mare this summer, like it was a really cool one. There's also Cozze, San Vito, you know, Bari is one of the main cities. I don't really suggest going to Foggia, which is like a really industrial, I don't really know how to say it. I didn't really feel secure when I went there, because I went with my parents also when I was 16 in Puglia during summer, but I know there's a lot of places to go during the night. There's a lot of stuff to do during the day. There's a lot of good stuff to eat. It's a really good place. I don't want to live there for sure. Like it's probably not the place where I wanted to live. Even this one is probably better for holidays, but I'm gonna give it like, you know, a 7 for sure. A really good one to have a good time. Probably not to live there, but it's still a really good one. And also other places where I've been here, I've been to, what is it? Peschici, which is here, which is really good. There's a lot of, you know, historical. There's a lot of diversity, to be honest. You can do a lot of different stuff in Puglia. The accent is really funny. There's a lot of good people here. It's Puglia. You cannot say anything about it. It is for sure a really good region. And we're gonna go across, and we're gonna go to Campania, which is like this little piece of land, not really little. The main attraction here for sure is Napoli and all the places like a little bit south, really a lot of it, Positano, you know, Sorrento, there's Ischia, Procida, Capri. There's really lots of amazing stuff to do here. The food is amazing. You can have a good time around here. It's probably not the safest place in the world, even here if you go a little bit out of the city center, but it's, you know, it's Naples. How you cannot like it? And you know, it's really a shame if you don't like it. I can understand maybe the people is a little bit, you know, in the middle of it. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes maybe they're getting the piss out of it. It can happen. And also there's Vesuvio, there's Caserta here. There's the Reggia di Caserta, which is like really close to Versailles if you're familiar with France, and it's a really cool place to go here. And in Napoli I had the best pizza ever, so it's really a good place to go for tourism, for a holiday. I would probably not live even here, to be honest. I know that I'm gonna say that for a lot of regions, but I get along with people, but I'm probably, because I'm from the north, I'm not really a big fan of the lifestyle, so probably not the best place for me to live. But it's gonna be maybe a 6. I don't know. We can jump to the next one, which is Molise, which is the smallest one of them all. It's not really a big place, and there's this inside joke, you know, in Italy, where Molise is who has seen Molise? Chi ha visto il Molise? Yeah, something like that. Molise, and you know, there's a lot of good people. I've been there to play with one of my bands. There's not very much to do, I have to completely be honest, you know, because we have to be objective. Campobasso suffered from a big earthquake like a few years ago, like Potenza and other cities where we're gonna have a look at in all of Italy, which is a shame for sure. But except for that, yeah, there's not really much to do. Termoli is probably the capital, the main city. I don't remember. There's lots of good people, but it's a little bit like Calabria, which is it's a shame, because it's even Molise is not a bad place. There's not much to do, to be honest. Just that there's not much to do. Like Italy has to invest in it to be competitive. And also we're gonna go a little bit north now, which is where you can find Abruzzo, which is another country, another region, wet by the sea. Can you say that? I was forgetting about it. Molise, I would not live there, so it's a good place to visit, but there's not much to do, so I'm gonna give it a 5. And skipping to Abruzzo, which is wet by the sea. Here there's a lot of diversity, because you can have a look at the mountain. You can even Aquila, a place with problems for earthquakes not a long time ago, and there's a lot of stuff to do. Probably even here I would not live in a city here. There's a lot of good places to go for hiking, for the beach, for going to the sea. People have a really, by my here, they are really close to the Roma accent, but it's not really like Roma. The dialect is a little bit strange, but it's okay. It's probably cheap. If you want to go here and have a vacation, you can can find probably a really cheap place, and you know, people are friendly. You can have lots of lamb to eat. Yeah, it's probably like it's a mid. There's lots of stuff to do, but it's more of a holiday place, like other regions. I would not go there to live for sure. So it's probably gonna be like a 6 in my opinion, always for that kind of balance. Speaking about it, we're gonna go to Lazio, where you can find Roma. Roma is for sure, like in my opinion, the best city in all of Italy, because you got, you know, lots of stuff to do during the day. During the night, there's a lot of good people and you know, fun people. The accent always kills me. There's a lot of diversity. I would probably even live here if it was not like this big, because it's really a big city and going around here is really a mess, but it's a really beautiful one. So I don't really remember. I think I've been also to Viterbo, other places, but I don't really remember. I've probably been to Latina, but I don't really recall it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go based on Roma, which is a really beautiful city. I'm not gonna go much further than this. I'm just gonna tell you that if you come here and you don't go to Roma, it's because you got something wrong in your mind. So it's a really cool one. I'm gonna give Lazio maybe a 7 out of 10, because it's even probably a really good place to live, even if you know, Roma is not really followed by the state, and also living here is a little bit difficult for you know, going around. There's always people complaining for public services and garbage, but it's, you know, it's still Roma in my opinion. And also you got the Città del Vaticano, where you can find the Pope, and there's even here a really good stuff to see and have a look around if you're interested in historical places. But we're gonna go further, and we're gonna jump in the middle of Italy, which is in Umbria, where you can find one of the, no, it's not the only one, but this is not a region wet by the sea, and you know, it's really a good one. Even this one, there's a lot of really small towns with like hidden gems, and not many people go there. They're still famous, for sure, but it's not maybe the most famous region for holidays or you know, vacation. But you can find Perugia, which is a cool town, like up by one hill, which is not maybe huge. You can invest a day here. There's you know, the Trasimeno Lake, you know, there's Gubbio, there's Assisi, where there's a lot of course historical and Catholic stuff. It's still Italy. There's Bastardo, which is nice. It's probably not the best place to live even here, because you're a bit far away from everything. You're far away from the sea, and you're far away, you know, from Roma, from Firenze. It's probably not really the best choice, but it's still a good place. Probably you're gonna find a lot of hidden gems, because it's not really, you know, there's not many tourists. You know, there's gonna be for sure in the summer, but it's not really the main you know, focus for a foreign or for someone from outside to go. So it's probably gonna be good for you if you're not looking for overcrowded places. I would probably go for a 6, you know, for living holiday, the same thing we were talking about it before, just because it's a little bit far away from everything. We're gonna jump to the next one, which is we're gonna go here again from this part of the country, which is Marche. Marche is a really good one for people, for food. I'm not really a big fan of Ancona. It's really even this one, it's just a city with an harbor. I didn't really have a nice time the times where I've been, but there's a lot of places to go for nightlife, for you know, clubbing, for you know, having a good time during the night and also during the day, because there's a lot of good places to go by the sea. Probably there's not much to do, like we're gonna have a look later, like in the Riviera, which is up north. So it's probably gonna be a bit less crowded in my opinion, but there's a lot of good places to go. And yeah, the people is really funny. There's a really different kind of accent if you're here in the north or down in the south, like close to Abruzzo. Like the difference is huge, where it's still the same region, but they're talking like in two different styles. And there's places to go for a bit of hiking. A lot of people with you know, small bikes, like 50cc. There's still a lot of culture for the motors here, for the engines, you know, the motorbikes. But yeah, I would probably not live here, because it's a little bit far away from the main places where I want to be. But it's gonna be a 6. It's still decent. It's just not for me. And we're gonna jump here again in the other side where you can find Tuscany, which is a really famous region. It doesn't really need like a presentation, like all of it, all of people I think from the world knows what it is. Firenze, the Pisa Tower, Prato, Lucca, when there's gonna be the Lucca comics in a few days, in these days. There's Volterra, Siena for the Palio, there's a lot of stuff to do. And also there's the Elba Island, the Isola d'Elba, where is a really good place to go in the summer. I don't really know what to say for sponsor it, because it's really well known. If I have to be completely honest, I'm not really a big fan of people from Firenze, because they're a little bit, how to say this without offending someone, they're a little bit with smell under the nose. We say it like that. They're not unfriendly, but they're always looking you in a bad way, in my perspective. I'm not gonna say everyone is like that. It's a really good place to go, and there's good meat, good wine, probably a good one. I'm not probably the biggest fan of Tuscany. I've been to Firenze a couple times. I've been there even playing with my band. It's not my favorite, to be honest, but it's a really good place to go, and you have to go there at least once, just like this. I would probably go and live there, probably, but it's not for the people. I'm gonna say it's not my favorite choice, so I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm sorry. We're gonna go a little bit left to find Liguria, which is another really cool place to go, but even this one is probably for holidays. It's not for living. It's really frustrating to go there, because all the towns here are like small towns by the sea, so everything is like built vertically, and it's not really easy to get around here with the car. And also there's a lot of steps to do. Genova is not really my favorite city. Like I didn't really have a nice time, to be honest. There's Cinque Terre, which is like here close to La Spezia, where you can take the train. There's a little train going through these 5 small towns, and they are really good for a vacation. It's not cheap, to be honest. It's not cheap like Tuscany. It's not cheap like for all the regions, like cheap, expensive, cheap, expensive, cheap, a bit of that and a bit of that. Like Roma is not really that expensive, but a little bit it is. Umbria is not expensive. Marche, Abruzzo, they're not expensive, but Tuscany it is. And also Liguria for sure is really expensive if you want to go there in vacation. For the same reason as we said before, it's not really easy to get away, and it's a little bit far away from stuff that I care about, so it's not really my kind of region. Even this one, I'm gonna give it a 6. It's not bad for sure. I've been to Sanremo 4 years ago for a contest. I didn't really like it. Like the seaside here, like for having a walk is okay, but the Ariston, the famous theater, not really that great in my opinion. All the people around are a little bit strange, and there's nothing to do. There's stuff to do like in other parts of it, but here like I didn't really have a good time. I went even to the casino. This is one of the 4 casinos in all of Italy. I don't remember. There's one in Venice. In general, I didn't really have a good time, so we're gonna pass through. We can go north. We can find Piemonte, which is in my opinion, it's a really good place, and it's not really considered even for the tourism. There's a lot of people that go in Torino and live in Torino. It's a really wonderful city in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff to do all around it. There's cute towns to go. There's Alessandria, Asti. There's a lot of it. Ivrea, Biella. There's a lot of it. I'm honest. You're close to France. There's a lot of mountains, and Torino, I don't know, I've been there during high school and then 3 times in the last years, and probably is the first city that I would like to choose if I wanted to change from Bologna, because it's cool. It's cold, but not too much, and it's not getting too hot during the summer. There's good vibes, and also the prices, at least for the moment, the prices are still really good. So we spent, I remember going out for lunch, we spent like 10 euros for a good dish, and bread, water, coffee, like not a full menu for sure, but not really bad. The main problem here always is that it's not really easy to get around because it's really far away. Like from Bologna to here are like 3 hours, something like that. So it's a little bit far away. I know that. It's a really good place, and I would like to even to live here, because Piemonte is a really beautiful region, and the people maybe are not probably the friendliest. You can meet like amazing people like all around it, but even here. So I'm gonna give Piemonte a 8 because it's really close even to the mountains, and I normally like to snowboard sometime during the year. We're gonna go to Valle D'Aosta, which is the second region that I speak about at the beginning, and I remember I've been like 2 hours to Aosta, but I don't really recall it. There's a lot of people go here for skiing, but it's almost like Trentino with Germans, like Valle d'Aosta is like for the French people. Like there's a lot of places that speak and they're called with French names. So it's still Italy, but it's a little bit, remixed. I don't know how to say that. I would probably go and even live here, but I would probably need to learn French. It's probably gonna be a 7. There's probably not a lot of stuff to do, but there's Courmayeur, which is a really chic place. But we're gonna go for the next one because I really don't know anything about it. And we're gonna go to this direction where we can find Stresa e Stil Piemonte, which is there's a lot of lakes also, which is also Stresa. It's a really beautiful place. There's a lot of stuff to do here. We're still back in Piemonte, but yeah, lots of hiking to do. And Novara, Arona, there's a lot of good stuff here to do and to visit. So I'm gonna suggest Piemonte once again. And now we're gonna go to Lombardia, which is it's well known for Milano, which is the fashion capital, the economic capital, the industrial capital, whatever. I'm not really a big fan of it, to be honest. I have to go here like 5, 6, 7 times a year for concerts, and it doesn't really make sense. It makes sense if you're going for a European tour and you got a band because it's closer to other countries. But Bologna or even Roma is a little bit far away, I know, but Bologna is a little bit better if you want people to go to concerts. But the most part of it are in Milano, and I do not really like the people. I do not like the accent. I like Club Dogo, which is a hip hop historical group. They're from here, but I like Monza for the Grand Prix, but I'm not really a big fan of it. There's stuff to do. The stadium San Siro is spectacular. The Duomo is as well. There's the Parco Sempione Park. It's easy to get around, but I don't really like the people. It's dangerous and I just don't like it. I don't know how to say that. But if you want to go, you can go to Lugano for a day, which is it's a little bit artificial. I know, I get it. It's not a bad place for a visit for a day, and it's close to Lombardia. And also you got the Lago di Como, which is really, really, really cool, to be honest. There's like all of this part, Bellano, Bellagio, Como. There's not much, but all of it is pretty cool. There's cool weather, and you're gonna have a good time for sure. Bergamo also, I'm gonna suggest it because there's a Bergamo, the new and the old one, so the city is like split in two, and also there's the airport where a lot of flight come and go. So it's pretty okay. It's not my favorite region, but I know it's gonna be okay for living, probably because there's work. You can find a lot of jobs. So I have to be honest here and give it like a 7 out of 10 because I'm not really a fan of it. I have to go there just for the concerts, but I don't really want to. Whenever I see there's a concert in Milan, I want to consider going or not, but if I have to be honest, it's not really my place to be. But we're gonna go, even Brescia is okay for even Lodi, Crema, also Cremona, this Pavia. They're pretty, small towns everywhere. It's not really the region for me, but you're gonna have a good time for sure. Also for the nightlife, because there's stuff to do, like a lot of stuff to do. And we're gonna have a peek to the next one, which is gonna be Friuli. Trentino. There's Lago di Garda also here, which is a really cool place. Trentino is mainly the region where you want to go to ski or go to the mountain hiking. It's a really beautiful place, like Sardegna. It's a Statuto Speciale region. They are having like a little bit of difference in the laws and stuff like that. The higher you go, the more German you're gonna hear speaking by the people. They're friendly. They're probably a little bit cold, or there's a lot of not strange people but they're like really funny in a weird way. It is fine. I always have a good time. Trento, it's a really a small town to it's a city, to be honest. It's a real city, but there's not much to look at. But for a visit, it's not bad. There's Bolzano, Merano Naturno, Lana, all these places here. And also it's really famous to in the winter for like all the people go here to ski. And this is not a cheap region for sure. This is a really expensive one, like Lombardia, which is fine. Skiing is not for rich people, but you have to be okay with money to do that. And there's Cortina d'Ampezzo, Bipiteno, Bressanone, Ortisei, there's Val di Fassa. There's a lot of good places to go, but you have to prepare your wallet, because it's not a cheap place for sure. I usually go here like once a year for having a good time for skiing with my friends, but it's not a really easy place to afford, if I have to be honest, for a lot of time. And also it's a little bit far away, so it takes a lot of time, but it's really a good place, and I'm gonna advise it for sure. Speaking of, we're gonna go a little bit right here, and we're gonna find Friuli. I haven't been like to the north of it. I've mainly been to Udine and Trieste, which is like here in the point, and I've been also to Treviso, but Treviso is in Veneto, so it doesn't really count. There's a little bit to do. It's not probably the best place to go. In Trentino, I would live there. I'm sorry, I was forgetting it, but I would probably live in Trentino because the money is good. Probably the people are not the really best ones, but I would probably live there, so I'm gonna go for an 8. Friuli also, because I really like. I've been also to Gorizia. I really like Trieste. It's a grey city for sure. The weather is not really the best ones, and you usually go there normally to go, in Croatia or Slovenia or whatever. But it's a really good place to be if the people are friendly. It's okay. There's also Pordenone. There's a little bit places to be. Probably is not the main region to visit, because there's not like lots and lots of stuff to do. But it's okay. So we're gonna go for a 7. I will probably go there and live just for Trieste, if you want me to be honest. We're gonna go for the second last, which is Veneto, which is down here. The main attraction for sure is Venezia, but we're gonna go there later. I'm gonna talk about first the other stuff. You can go to Jesolo to have a good time during the summer. You can visit Verona, which is like it's a really famous city. It's a good one for a visit for a day. There's not tons of stuff to do, but it's okay. There's Vicenza, there's Bassano del Grappa. There's a lot of stuff, some things to say and to do, but not much of it. People have a really funny accent. They usually swear a lot, but it's fine. It's like a common say. There's a spritz. There's probably not the best cuisine. It's not here, but in Italy. But it's usually it's not normal if you find a place in Italy where you don't eat good. Maybe it's a cliche, but it's real. And we're gonna go to Venezia, which is probably after Roma. It's probably the second best place to go in Italy to visit. I would probably not live here for sure, because it's not really easy to get around. But I know for a visit, for a weekend, it's really spectacular. You can have good walks. It's basically a city on water, but I'm sure you know of it. So it's not really something that people don't know about it. There's spritz everywhere in good prices. It's expensive. Venezia is expensive. It's not like once was. I don't really know these places, so I don't really have advices. But for the moment, I'm gonna suggest it. But there's a ticket now to go there, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to pay like 10 euros just to visit Venezia, which is really absurd in my opinion. But they have to cash in, I guess. So, but yeah, Veneto. I will probably live in Veneto, but there's a lot of fog during the winter and the autumn. It's a little bit of a grey place when it's not summer. So I will probably leave, but it's not really my favorite. So I'm gonna give probably a 6.5. And last but not least, we're gonna go to my region, which is Emilia-Romagna. I've lived in Bologna my whole life. Like in Bologna, there's even my favorite place in all earth, which is the San Luca, which is like a church on top of a hill with there's a good views. There's a big arcade, 666 arcades, to go there, which is like you're gonna start here and then you go here. My favorite place on earth. You can eat really good. It's a really big historical place, university, a lot of good people. It's not cheap like once was, unfortunately, even for me. So it's not really affordable by anyone, to be honest, now in this moment in time. But it's not really the most expensive one like Milano for sure. It's not really cheap, but for a weekend, even for like 4 or 5 days, you can go and get around. there's a lot of stuff to do. There's clubs, there's good people. I love the accent for sure. It's my place. So Bologna is it's my place. So we're gonna go on other stuff, on other cities to for my opinion, for a bigger point of view. There's Piacenza. Honestly, there's not much to say about it. People are basically from Lombardia. I'm not really a big fan. Parma is okay. They have a strange art, good stuff to eat. There's Reggio Emilia, which is basically almost the same thing. And Modena, for me, these three cities are almost the same. They're not really much different. Everything has their own spectacle and differences. There's Maranello, where we can find Ferrari. It's a really good region. I live in it, so I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. There's Ferrara, where there's a little bit to do, but not much. You can spend like a day there. There's Ravenna, Cesena, where my girl is from. You can find a lot of stuff. There's the Emilia that goes through the sea, and also here where usually all the people from the region, the inside region goes to when it's summer. So you're gonna find a lot of clubs, beach. The sea is not really great, but you're not gonna go there for having a nice swim. So yeah, this is my region. Probably, if I have to be objective, it's not probably the best to live right now, but it's still one of the best in my point of view. So I'm gonna give it an 8 with no problem. There's Imola, the circuit. I've got a lot of memories also. So Emilia-Romagna for me is like a really important place in my heart. We're having for the moment a little bit of problems with the flooding, so it's really a delicate time, but we're gonna go through it. And also there's San Marino here, which is like Vatican City, is like is basically another nation inside our nation. It's okay, you can have a good time. There's stuff to see. There's good views. You're gonna see all the sea, but it's not really my favorite in all of Italy, but there's good taxes advantages here. So that was it. I think we have been through all of it. That was my quick and honest point of view for all the regions in Italy. We're gonna go probably for better times in the future, because I know that it's not really easy to live in Italy. I've also been 2 years away, and Australia was a really good country to live. If you go away from the problems, you're never gonna solve them. I don't want to be anymore that kind of people that goes away from problems that the country can have. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. It's probably a really long video, but I wanted to say and go through all of the regions. So I hope you come, and I hope you enjoyed like me trying to talk in English, because I'm a little bit rusty. It was not easy, and it's been a while. Ciao amici, and see you at the next time. Per voi italiani che siete rimasti fino ad ora vi ringrazio. Però un bacione, ci vediamo alla prossima.